Hey guys, 2717 tariffs. What are they? Stay tuned.
Okay, hey, this is a real kind of a impromptu. We actually we were sitting there talking about this tariff deal.
Yeah.
And we decided let's just record.
Well, Talon's like, dude, we should just be recording right now.
Yeah.
So just for our audience knows, I am not an expert on tariffs. Really didn't know a whole lot about it, but over the past several days, probably like the rest of America, we've been hearing about it. I've done some research.
Sure.
Merritt's done a little research. Sure. But you know what? We just want to talk about what we do know about it.
Yep. And
I think we'll probably do a follow-up in a few weeks because we're gonna dive into this a lot, you and I.
Well,
and,
one of the things 2717 that we're going to do, you'll see, is about once a week we're going to come out with a current topic. The podcast is going to be, it may be an additional, we may do 2 in a week, but it's going to be an additional podcast on a current event, and there's nothing more current, more relevant, a hotter topic right now in the world than tariffs, Wade.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's open up. This is one of the things we're talking about pre-recording. A lot of people may or may not know, Wade, but it was not until 1913 that February 25th, 1913, income tax became legal in the United States.
16th Amendment.
Right. So until then, tariffs were the way the U.S. made money.
Yeah, we sustained our
just imagine,
country.
Which I know the world's different today, but just imagine that if none of us, everybody watching this podcast, if your income tax was zero, there was no income tax, okay? Yeah. And that we told the rest of the world, which by the way, we still, for everything you hear, the U.S. has the biggest GDP, we're the biggest economy, we are still in the driver's seat. Yeah. I'm going to have Talon look up some other stuff that's going to be shocking when we talk about it.
Yeah.
But if we had no income tax and all of our income was on tariffs, which I know it doesn't apply today, but I'm just saying that was the reality for 220 some odd years, Wade.
That's how we lived.
We had no income tax.
As a country.
Yeah. It's been a little over 100 years that we've had income tax.
Yes.
So this is not something that's never happened before.
Yeah. And people don't realize that.
Right.
They think this is crazy.
So if you would, to a ChatGPT, and when did, I'll see if I can say this right, Talon, when did China become a part of the, what is that called, the world trade, that they were not, because they were such a hardline communist, they were not included in the world trade, something or another. The world,
is it the World Economic System?
World Economic, maybe something, yeah. What the significance of this, I'm going to talk about it, and then we can read this. It was actually Nixon that for 20 or 30 years, the U.S. had no official conversation with China, zero. It was complete silence.
Wow.
Because they were such hardline communists. What does it say, Talon?
December 11, 2001.
Okay, 2001. So 24 years ago, they were entered into the, what's it called? The World Trade Organization, okay? Now, if you would say in the year 2001, what were the largest, for gross domestic product, GDP, the largest countries in the world? So let me set this up and explain. Prior to 2001, China, because of their hardline communism, plus the way they abused their people, they were not recognized as somebody that's a good country doing good things that should be entered into the other major countries in the world, and they were excluded. Okay.
Yeah.
The reason that they were put into it, Richard Nixon put them into the World Trade Organization because that we could pay the Chinese people 20 cents an hour, slave labor, to make our products. Here's the bottom line, Wade. We wanted cheap crap in the U.S., and we didn't care that we took children. It was a horrible situation, abusive, slave labor, 20 cents an hour. We paid these people nothing so that we could buy cheap stuff from China. Now, in 2001, look at the See, China's number 6, okay? They had $1.3 billion, trillion, excuse me, in gross domestic product. We had what is that?
10.6 trillion.
So we're 10x China. Now, if you would please do 2024 gross domestic product by country. Watch what happens. Watch what happens when we and the rest of the world players put China into the World Trade Organization. They go from number 6, and we're 10x them. Now it's going to be we're ahead, but we're not crushing them. We're ahead by a little bit.
China's number 2 at 19.53 trillion.
Okay, so they were at 1. So now listen, do the math. They were at 1 trillion, a little over 1. So they've 20 times in the same time period. Their economy's grown 20 times. Okay.
Wow.
The U.S. was how much? A little over 10 or 11.
We were at
10.6, and then what are we now?
We tripled.
So we tripled. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
They've grown 20 times.
20 times.
We've created this monster.
Yeah.
And the reason that we trade with China till today, look, we have a real close friend.
Yes.
Okay, that has a very successful business, and I'm not going to get into the details.
Sure.
I don't want to hurt his feelings on this podcast.
No, yeah, of course not.
But they have their products manufactured in China for one reason, because it's cheaper.
Yep.
And so,
well, that was always the big topic on Shark Tank, right?
Right.
And a lot of them were like, dude, what are you doing? Go overseas. You'll get it for, 70% cheaper.
Right.
Right. Your margins are going to go up, 50%, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot of controversy with Americans on this.
Yes. And so
just morally.
Right. And so so there's the whole moral thing, but then China has had tariffs on us.
Yeah.
For us selling our products into China.
But yet we made them 10 times richer.
Right. And we've had little to no
richer.
tariffs of their products coming back to us. There's been a handful, but nothing of any significance.
Yeah.
The same goes with our so-called allies, Wade.
Yeah.
If you go to Germany, the UK, you go to Mexico, you go to so the first aspect of all this I want everybody to understand is that it has been almost a one-way street.
Yeah.
Our manufacturing, again, this might be something that you could look up on ChatGPT. Manufacturing in the U.S. What has happened to manufacturing in the U.S. in the last 20 years? Our manufacturing jobs.
Has manufacturing gone up or down in the last 20 years?
Dramatically down. I mean, so.
That's the question.
Detroit used to be the car manufacturing hub of the world. We made the majority of the vehicles for the world in Detroit, in the U.S.
Yeah.
And because of tariffs and a lot of other things, most of the countries in the world have significant tariffs on American vehicles going into their country. And consequently, we don't sell a lot of American vehicles across the world because we're not competitive price-wise.
Yeah.
And so, but we have allowed for vehicles coming in to come in with little to no tariff.
Yeah.
Now, one of the interesting things that Trump has done is if they're made in the U.S., it can be now you drive a Mercedes. One of your cars is a Mercedes. Was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Mercedes has a lot of manufacturing plants in the U.S. A bunch. BMW does not. Here's what's about to happen. With the new tariffs that have been signed, Mercedes, because a lot of their cars are built here, zero tariff, no tariff.
Yeah.
American people are putting them together, made in the good old USA, no tariff.
There you go.
Those manufacturers that haven't created plants in the U.S.,
Tariffs.
they're going to have a tariff. Why, before the tariffs were even actually put into effect? Why did I think it's Hyundai was going to build a huge manufacturing plant, $1 trillion investment in Mexico. They've scratched it. They're going to build in the U.S.
Come on.
There's multiple of these things happening
Yeah.
because they don't want to pay the tariff.
That's right.
And so, as we unpack this, and there's another aspect of this that I want to talk about.
Well,
but
before you go there,
yeah.
I want to say this. So what does this mean for the American people, right? Well, what is the deficit right now? What are we at?
30 something trillion.
30 something trillion dollars,
Yeah.
right? So if we've got over 700 billion coming in every single year on tariffs, which is that's a projection, could be higher. So 700 billion, and then the economy, you're putting trillions of dollars into the economy by bringing businesses back here, manufacturing right here in the good old US of A, right? So think about how this is going to boost the economy, and it's not going to take maybe 5-6 years for us to become debt free again, right? Possibly. I mean,
It's going to make a dent in our
give or
deficit
take,
for sure.
it's going to
Yeah.
make a big dent,
Yeah.
right? So what does this mean for the average American? Well, going back to taxes. So if you're making $100,000 a year, the average American out there making $100,000 a year, your average tax bracket, you're going to fall in about 24% tax bracket.
Okay.
What does that mean? That's $240,000.
That's right.
Or
24,000.
$24,000.
Yeah.
Sorry, $24,000.
Right.
$24,000 that you're paying every single year.
That's right.
Right. If you're only making $100,000. Sorry, I was thinking of
I understand.
$2 million.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're paying $24,000. You're paying 24% of everything you make. That's just the average person.
Right.
And then if you own a business, oh my gosh, right? There's so many more taxes that you're
Yep.
paying. But just the average person making $100,000, that's $24,000 a year. So in 5 years, how much is that? 24
Right.
times 5, right? So I'm bad at math. What is that? 24,000. So you're 124,000 basically, right? Pretty close to that. 124,000 in 5 years is what you would have saved. How many people want to save $24,000 a year? Okay.
Right.
So now I'm not saying this is going to happen, but we used to have a free America where we did not pay taxes, income
right.
taxes,
That's
income
right.
taxes. So if this plan could possibly work and start to get the U.S. out of debt and bring more jobs into trillions of dollars of jobs into the U.S., how much stronger are we going to be as an economy, right? So that's
No,
kind of
100%, yeah.
That's kind of the little behind the scenes of what this could do for the United States of America.
Oh, I mean, in terms of jobs, Wade, if we were to add, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the net effect's going to be. Maybe 500,000 jobs, maybe 250,000 jobs.
Well, and the dollar becomes stronger.
Big time. And then, but just think
Buying power
about
becomes
from a tax standpoint, if you've got, to your point, let's just round down 20,000 jobs, and there's 200,000. Right, if the average is paying 20,000 in income tax, and there's 200,000 jobs, I mean, what is that, Talon? 20,000 jobs times 20,000 in income tax times 200,000. 20,000 times 200,000. It's a lot of money.
Are you doing it?
20,000 times 200,000. 4 billion. So there's
There you go.
4 billion in additional income tax. So, at the end of the day, what we're talking about is evening the playing field.
Yeah.
Right. We're all we're talking about is what Trump is doing is reciprocal tariffs. We're not talking about, hey, you're currently charging us 10%. We're going to charge you 20.
Yeah.
In most cases, we're not even going up to what the tariffs are.
Yeah.
We're just saying, hey, look, you're charging us a 20%. We're going to charge you a 10%.
Yeah.
And people are losing their minds, but we have made other countries rich at the cost of American jobs
Yeah.
and our American economy. And if it made sense and there were, those days are long gone.
Sure.
The days of a little China that they had no opportunity, just a $1 trillion economy, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Those days are long gone. We're talking about now who is going to be the economic force in the world. Powerhouse. And now we got to go, okay, look, we've been getting ripped off for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to switch gears to one other topic, and nobody talks about this.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing too, and this came out in Trump's first term, was if y'all remember this, is okay. What's the world military thing? What's it called? They wear the blue helmets. They're the UN. Thank you. United Nations, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was supposed to be paying in a percentage of their GDP to go to the UN, to participate in the UN, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they're a peacekeeper force and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But nobody was paying their fair share.
Yeah.
Nobody was paying what they were supposed to pay.
I remember this.
And Trump came in and was like, hey, pay your fair share.
Yeah.
We're all supposed to be contributing this % from our GDP. You guys aren't doing it. Pay up, right? And he hammered them, and they started paying up.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. If you look at, and I'm going to talk about our friendly neighbors, Mexico and Canada.
Yeah.
They spend, as a percentage of their economy, almost nothing on defense. We spend a significant, even as big as our economy is. Yeah, look this up, town. We spend a significant amount of money on defense.
Yes.
You know why they don't have to?
Because
We protect them.
We're gonna protect them.
We protect them.
Yeah.
Well, again, we're getting ripped off.
Yeah.
So we've got our neighbors. You know, it's like, you know, if we all three lived in the same neighborhood,
Yeah.
right? And there's a bunch of mischief going on, a bunch of trouble, and you step up and you get a bad to the bone security system.
Yeah.
You've got 24/7 security patrolling the neighborhood, and you're spending $100K a year to make sure everything's good.
Yeah.
And Tal and I are just kind of freeloading on the deal.
Yeah.
You know, at some point,
Yeah,
you're
no bueno.
20 years down the road, you're going,
Yeah.
hey boys,
Yeah.
y'all are my buddies, but
Hey, you got some money too. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah, y'all need to cough
Help
up some
out.
money, right? Yeah, nobody's
Yeah.
broken into your house,
Yeah.
mainly because I'm taking care of business.
Yeah.
Well, this is going on throughout the world. Wait, this is not our European allies
Yeah.
spend fractionally less than what we spend because again, we've got the nuclear arsenal. We keep
Yeah.
developing it. We're
keeping the peace.
keeping the peace. And
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, well, I'll go push around that guy," and then all of a sudden, you know, the U.S. goes, "No, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
you're not gonna
that's
do
our
that."
ally. You don't
Yeah.
push them around. You want trouble with us?"
Yeah.
And so there's so much going into this tariff deal
Yeah.
that people don't talk about. It's jobs, it's
Yeah.
being economically fair, it's bringing resource and money back to the
Yeah.
U.S. that should have been.
Yeah.
It's making our American products competitive overseas. But wait, it's also everybody doing what they're supposed to do, even in terms of defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're spending an extra, Lord, I don't know what is that? What did you pull up there?
1
What's 3.4%? That's how much we're spending in our GDP for military. So it's $1.02 trillion.
Yeah, so we're spending over $1 trillion.
Wow.
And if you look at what other countries are spending,
Yeah. Look up what Mexico spends on military.
it's nothing. I bet they spend, I don't know, a few $1 billion or something.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, I mean, look, I have a lot of love for Mexico, and,
Sure.
and some
Same.
my closest friends are from Mexico.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Same.
like from Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
But I mean, you know,
Well, the government.
The
right?
government
It's
is
not-
messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. The government.
Yeah,
And I think they would all say that.
what is that? Okay, so so
Wow.
Mexico spent in 2023 $11.8 billion. We're spending $1 trillion.
Wow.
How can they get away with spending that little?
That's
because we got
crazy.
their back. So
They're
guys,
not even
here's
spending $100 billion. I mean,
here's the
11
thing:
billion.
is
Wow.
we don't what people need to understand. The American people have been getting ripped off.
Yeah.
We have been getting ripped off for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And you know, you may say, "I don't. This is all." It's not. It's just the facts.
Yeah.
Now, if you say, "I don't agree with tariffs," then what's the solution? Because
Yeah.
here's what's going to happen. There may be a handful of that don't go down like this, but most everybody is going to come to the table, and they're going to either drop tariffs or we're going to get some kind of more reciprocal tariff thing going on.
Yeah.
Deals are going to get made,
Yeah.
and the winner is going to be the American people.
Absolutely.
It's not a political party.
Yeah.
It's going to be the American people.
Well,
and listen,
whenever you're taxing the hardworking men and women of this country to the point where, you know, we're just, gosh, it's so hard to even survive. That's not right. That's not right. So, you know, I don't know if this is going to lead to some type of a tax relief of any percentage at all. But if anything comes out of it, that our economy does get stronger because it's going to bring in hundreds of thousands of more jobs.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be manufacturing more things here. Our dollar becomes stronger. Our buying power becomes stronger.
Yep.
You know, that's going to help the economy all the way around, no matter what.
Yep.
But if there is a way in the future where, you know, we can get back to how this country started, which was we didn't have an income tax.
That's right.
No, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I know I got all excited earlier. It's like, hey, would you like save 24,000 on your 100? But could we get half that? Right.
Right.
I think that's possible.
Yep.
I think that's realistic to think. Right. If this continues down the path
Sure.
that we're doing. So anyway, we started this out. I know we're probably about to wrap up, but we started out talking about tariffs because it's a hot topic. A lot of people disagree with it. A lot of people are for it. But really, I think when you do your research and you understand it, educate yourself, just like anything else in this world, there's a lot of truth on both sides. And so I think that's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to bring a little bit of education to this. And Merritt, you did a great job, by the way.
Well,
of explaining. And I know this was on the fly.
Yeah. But let me just. I'm going to get. I hope that people watch this think.
Yeah.
If tariffs didn't work, why are all these companies putting tariffs on us?
That's right.
Forever.
Every other country out there is doing it.
Forever. This isn't like they've been doing it for a year or two.
Yeah.
This is like 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years. In some cases, we're getting, and guys, on some of our products,
Yeah.
like milk and some things like that, we're talking about our farmers and ranchers.
Yeah.
There's, with Canada, it's look this up if you don't mind, Town. I think it's a 300% tariff on milk.
Wow.
It's basically
On the US?
our milk producers in the U.S. can't sell milk into Canada.
They can't sell anywhere else. Wow.
And I understand why they're doing it. It's a protectionist thing.
Sure.
To make sure their dairy farmers
Yeah,
are okay.
But we're not doing it. We're not helping out our own people.
That's not right. Oh, reaching up to 241%.
241%.
241% tariff on milk.
Excuse me.
So but these things are, if you understood the economics and the numbers, these are huge. They're crazy, and it's a one-way deal.
Yeah.
They'll sell their milk down here. We just can't sell our milk up there.
Yeah, we can't do it.
And in what world is that
Why?
okay?
Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Exactly. Well, look.
That's crazy.
At one time, and I know we need to probably start wrapping this thing up. At one time, we were such economically dominant in the world
Yeah.
that I think we kind of thought, well, it's not fair to us, but gosh, let's help these other little guys out.
Yeah.
Well, guys, those days are long gone.
They are long gone.
I mean, China is a massive economic force. You know
Yes.
who's right behind them? India.
India. Oh, I saw that.
India
Yes.
is a economic powerhouse.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why India, and they're
Yeah,
right
there
there,
it
but
is.
you watch, they're going to continue to grow because
Germany,
here's another
Japan,
thing. Hey,
India.
all of our Christian brothers and sisters that are out there, I want you to have kids because I like grandkids. I want a lot of grandkids.
Yeah.
For an economy to keep growing, you have to have
2.1 or 2.2.
Exactly. Your birth rate has to exceed your death rate.
Yeah.
And China, they know it now. They messed up.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know this, they had to abort all of their male. Was that right?
No,
They were
it was
allowed to keep one female, or was it
no,
one
it was the
male?
males they were
okay,
keeping.
one
They were
male they
getting
could
rid of the
keep,
females.
and they had to abort all the.
That's correct.
They did that for a long time, and so their birth rate got messed up. It's killing their economy.
Yeah.
Their economy is not that good.
Yeah.
India, they're having babies like crazy, and it's one of the reasons why their economy's good. The other thing is you can get cheap labor over there. That's why a lot of our you'll get a customer service person you call, and they'll be from India.
Yeah.
They speak good English. Sometimes they're kind of hard to understand, but they speak very good English.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a hot topic. Make sure you're educated. Make sure you're not just listening to.
Sure.
And I get it. Like you may say, well, Merritt, it's going to cause products to be more expensive in the U.S. And the answer to that is it may.
Yeah.
What I hope happens is this becomes the way Trump normally works is he hits them real hard. Like I'm talking scary hard.
Yeah.
And that's what hits the headlines and people freak out. Oh my gosh, Trump's going crazy.
Yeah.
But his tactic is he hits super hard.
Yeah.
And then when somebody comes back and they're like, hey,
Yeah.
let's
we can
talk.
do this, but we can't do that.
Right. Then he starts making the deals.
Okay.
Right.
Well, we can live with that. Yeah.
It's how he negotiates.
Sure.
And nothing's perfect and nobody's perfect and I don't want anybody to pay higher prices. And my wife drives a BMW and she likes it, and I don't want to pay 10.
I love my foreigns.
I don't want to pay 10% more for my BMW if we buy another one.
Sure.
But you know what probably I would do is if I could buy something comparable, a Mercedes, at a 10 or 15% discount because of the tariff,
Sure.
I'm going to go buy the Mercedes.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this. Listen, I've got lots of friends of all nationalities. I got Indian friends from Canada, Mexico, obviously. So we're not dogging out any of our friends
No.
here. We're not necessarily we're not dogging out your country. What we are saying is the United States of America has positioned themselves to be very vulnerable and weak for many, many years financially.
Yep.
And that's why we have such a massive freaking debt and why we're overtaxing our own people. So all we're talking about is if you live here in the United States of America, you need to educate yourself on what these tariffs can possibly do to help our economy so we can be strong and vibrant and successful.
That's right. That's right.
So-
Yep. So, hey, listen, maybe you agree, maybe disagree. Keep doing research, keep educating yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And let us know. Hey, if you think we suck, then say, hey, I think you suck.
Yeah.
We want to know what you think about our podcast, good, bad, and ugly. We don't care. We
Yeah.
can take it.
yeah, yeah. We believe in what we're telling you. I think there's truth in what we're telling you.
Yeah.
But listen, there's always two ways of looking at things.
Yeah.
I would just argue that we've been doing it one way for a really, really long time, and we just keep digging this hole deeper.
Yeah.
And so it's time for change. If you've got a different idea, a different kind of change, man, shout it out to us. Tell us what it is. But
Yeah,
anyway,
love to hear it.
all right.
Right on.
We're 2717.
All right, guys.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
God bless.